This story begins where many others generally end. At the time, I worked for a detective agency known as HPD, but I couldn't know then what the acronym really meant. I don't think I ever really knew. For a few months, I'd been on the trail of the man the press not very originally renamed Blowtorch. A clue led me to the extreme outskirts of Miami, in a little out-of-the-way suburb that smelled like rotten fish.
Operator, the caller you have dialed is unavailable. Do you want to leave a message?
Bundy, knock it off. Judging from the traffic noise, I'd say you disobeyed my orders.
Hey, I just went out for a ride on my bike. What's the harm?
At 10 in the evening, I told you to stay home. The case is ours. We're already racing to the scene of the tip-off.
But the cavalry's already here, boss. Let me find one of those clues that Blowtorch left for me, and we will stop the next murder before you even divorce your third wife.
I'm on my fourth, Bundy, and I will never understand why that killer keeps leaving clues just for you.
Do you need to ask? Because I'm his archenemy, his nemesis, his worst nightmare.
More like he enjoys leaving you every time grasping a handful of air.
Oh yeah. Remind me again, old man. Who stopped the Puerto Rican surgeon and the arsonist of the southeast coast? And what about the...
All old news, Bundy. You haven't caught a break for a long time. And for months you've been following Blowtorch without any results. Why don't you go on holiday and let us do the work?
I'm in Miami, dude. Working here is a holiday.
I'm serious, Lars. Give it up.
Listen, boss. I will limit myself to a stealth approach. Identify the victim's flat, I write everything down, I smoke a cigarette, I admire the skyline, I wait for reinforcements. No shootout planned.
That would be difficult, since you never carry a gun with you.
Well, once a chick told me that the weapon at my side makes me clumsy.
Don't cause any shit, Bundy. We'll be there in a short while.
Okay. That means I have a short while to solve this case.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Bundy, don't screw things up, or I swear...
At previous crime scenes, we always found a letter addressed to me, abandoned in the mailboxes. This time, maybe, I would be able to find that letter before the crime was committed. But I had to hurry. I looked at the various mailboxes and found what I was looking for. An abandoned envelope with no writing or stamps. The only problem remaining was how to open the mailbox. It was equipped with a normal lock, very easy to destroy with a minimum of It was equipped, nevertheless. I couldn't buzz the whole building without a clue. I couldn't buzz the whole... It wouldn't help me in any way. I couldn't buzz the whole building without a clue. Bikes don't have a fee to park. Or maybe they do. But I'd have canceled my own ticket anyway. As much as I loved wandering around on green dirt in the middle of the night, I had work to do. The door was one of those you could only open through an electric impulse. I wouldn't be able to force it open, even if it was a normal model. I've always been a washout as a burglar. The alley led around the building to the right. Before examining the area, though, I had to make sure I was in the right place. That stuff tasted like chewing gum stuck under a desk for a month. I know that because at school I never had the money for snacks, so I picked up those. Ace Frizzo's vending machine. The engine was working. The little gate was well protected with a lock and chain. At the same time, it was so low that I would be able to jump it, even on my knees. I didn't need to make the ladder come down. The only way in seemed to be the emergency ladder. I I didn't need to make the ladder come down. The ladder was too high for me to reach it. And that kind of model was equipped with a security lock too. I couldn't even see it from where I stood. As much as I loved wandering my green dart, in addition to being marvelous, it had a handy flask on the front, which I used for basically everything. Normally I would have filled it with scotch, but I didn't want to find myself in Orlando investigating a red whale again, like last time. Maybe there was still something useful in Green Dart's flask. Hey, there really was some scotch after all. Scotch tape, I mean. That roll of scotch tape must have got left in Green Dart's flask for years. Sometimes, my obsession with using random items didn't lead anywhere. I was all out of ideas. It was equipped with an... I only had a game. The one with the snake that has to eat the dots all scattered all over the screen. I was complete rubbish at video games. I didn't need to set the alarm. By that time, they were all using those instant messaging programs. Therefore, my message box was constantly empty. That damn paid weather forecast service that I couldn't deactivate wiped out all of my credit. I didn't have the money to contact anyone. But in return, I knew that in New Orleans there was a moderate rain with winds above the seasonal average. The door was one of those you could only open. Wouldn't be able to force it open. An antique and horrible coin eater. My beloved badge. How much abuse and harassment I was able to accomplish using that simple square of fabric. Ah, those were the days. Maybe it was the right thing to do, but in that moment, I didn't realize it. Better think about it. In that moment, it didn't seem to be a good solution to me. Sometimes it wasn't possible. In that moment, sometimes, in that moment, a mural signed P. Gold. I couldn't buzz the whole... I couldn't buzz... Here's what the taxpayers' money was being used for. I thought it was better to leave before causing some serious damage to the sidewalk. The conditions of that sidewalk were getting worse. A stone bigger than the others just fell off the sidewalk. And who was I not to accept the kind gifts from Providence? I was all out of ideas. I didn't need to make the ladder come down. Better think about it. I thought it was better to look for another solution. Better think about it. I could certainly have managed to open the mailbox by throwing rocks at it, but it would have woken the entire neighborhood up. Maybe, or maybe not. In that moment, it didn't seem to be a good solution to me. Was it really worth it? Maybe it was the right... Better think about it. The door was one of those you wouldn't be. The door was one of those you wouldn't be. Sometimes. I was all out. No matter how hard I. It was equipped with a normal lock, very easy to destroy with a minimum of sheer force. Nevertheless, it was impossible to do it with. I could certainly have managed to open the mailbox by throwing rocks at it, but it would have woken the entire neighborhood up. Better think about it. Sometimes, maybe, or the ladder was too. I couldn't. Ace Frizzo's vending machine. The worst cola ever. The engine was. That stuff tastes. I know. That stuff tastes. I know that because at school I never had them. The alley led around the building to the right. Before examining the area, though, I had to make sure I was in the right place. That stuff tasted like chewing. I know that. Bikes don't have a fee to park. Or maybe. Sometimes. I didn't understand how that could possibly help me. I didn't understand. I didn't. Maybe. Sometimes. I love making prank calls, but this really wasn't the right moment. Someone left a stupid smiley on the intercom. I could use it to establish the alleged stupidity of J.J. Earham, but nothing else. I couldn't buzz the whole building. I couldn't buzz. A telephone number erased unceremoniously. It was surely the joke of some happy-go-lucky prankster. A mural signed P. Gold. I saw many others like that around the city. The only way... I didn't need to make the ladder come down. The little gate was well protected with a lock and chain. At the same time, it was so low that I would be able to jump it, even on my knees. The alley led around before examining the area, though. Maybe it was the right thing to do.